Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good morning to all the viewers. I'm Hiral Dadia and you're watching Stocks in Focus. One such company that we have been looking at pretty closely is Paras Defense, and this is on the back of the fifth Positive Indigenization List that has been released by Department of Military Affairs. Now, this list also comprises of around 98 items, and the focus is mainly on import substitution. Let's understand from Paras Defence's management as to what would this mean for the company and how the company sits to benefit out of this. Joining us on the show is Amit Mahajan, Director at Paras Defense. Amit, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, and firstly, thank you for having me on the show.
It's always a pleasure to speak to you.
Same here. Likewise.
Amit, my first question is overall your initial comments on the fifth Positive Indigenization List that has been released by Department of Military Affairs. What would this mean? Because clearly, from the first to now, it's a whole host of items that have been released so far.
So this indigenization list, as you must have been tracking, it is comprising of 8 systems and platforms. It also comprises of various systems from panning from missile systems to naval systems, and also to UAVs, drones, and a lot of anti-drone RF and microwave systems. So all of this, if you see the gamut of things that will be required to be indigenized, it covers a large spectrum of defense technologies. Now, what it means for a company like Paras, it has 2 prone benefits. When I say 2 prone benefits, one is the benefit of opportunity spectrum, which is in front of us for things that we are currently doing, and already the systems are either developed or we are in the process of development. And I'll give an example. Say naval systems. We are truly into naval systems. One of the maybe largest consumer of Paras defense technologies would be Navy. So you see the amount of naval opportunities that get sprung up because of these 98 components. Then the second platform would be tank. Now Paras, even current order book, if you see, we are largely supplying to tanks in multiple areas. We are also involved into rocket and missile offerings. So all of these are going to be given a huge amount of opportunity landscape because of these 98 components coming in. But what I should appreciate the government is they are not stopping at that. They are not just including items which are already developed or well established or well proven. They have been a little more aggressive. They have also included items which are under development or maybe are in trial phase. They are not mature enough, but they are futuristic. And banning, or you can say indigenization of these technologies, is a clear indication of their intent that they want the Indian industry not just to manufacture and produce certain technologies for the defense, but would also want to develop and think beyond just ordinary, think cutting edge, and then start delivering. I'll give you an example. RF and microwave radar. There are some very cutting edge radars which are on the offing. There is quantum. Now, this is something which was a surprise. If you see Paras Defense's presentation, you already would see that we are all already into drones, anti-drones, RF and microwave. We are also started development in the quantum domain. So it is very, very pleasant surprise that the government is thinking in the pace of the industry will more than be welcoming these kind of opportunities.
Right. And I think with all of this said and done, Paras has been one of the companies that is enabling indigenization as well, with the manufacturing capabilities that the company has. Now, overall, if you see with regards to the PILs that have come in so far, the 5 that have been announced, what portion of your order book is through indigenization, and how do you see that, actually boosting business for you from here on?
So we have been into indigenization since our inception. That has been our DNA. We used to call it as import substitution, and that import substitution has always played a role in that indigenization has always played a role in the kind of developments that we did. So what we would want to look at is translation of these opportunities of these 5 PILs into domestic industry will not directly reflect on the order book, but also will reflect on the funnel that we have. Now, our order book has been doubling every year, right? At the same time, the opportunity which is lying in front of us is at least 2x of our order book. Now, this is where you would be able to see where we will be walking in the coming years. So, order book, say 3 to 5 years back, what it was and what it is today is huge. But at the same time, you see the opportunity which is lying in front of us, 2x. The last time I spoke, it was 2x. The order book already it has become 3x. And with these lists coming in, it will go to 3.5x or 4x of our order book. Now, this is where the whole meat lies.
Right. And if you're looking at the Indian defense industry as a whole, if I'm not mistaken, we are the second largest defense force in the world. We are amongst the top 10 defense spending countries as well, and this is as on 2022. And the last I read was that we were expecting export equipments worth $15 billion by 2026 as a country. Now, if that's the target that India wants to achieve, and if we take the budget 24 with the overall defense budget that was increased by almost 13% to 5.93 lakh crores, which is almost 13% of the total budget, right? Taking these macro aspects into consideration, where is Paras placed in terms of the export picture?
So it's not that Paras is not doing exports. Paras has been doing exports even before all of these initiatives. Even when offsets was a part of the defense procurement policy, Paras was well truly one of the very significant exporters of defense technologies. However, what transpires today is the current initiatives allow the domestic industry and the domestic opportunities to swell, which means the huge business which is right in front of you, it is for you to take. Those are your low-hanging fruits. Export business is being nurtured even right now as we speak. But as we start catering to the huge domestic requirements, our productionization capabilities would improve. And then we would be able to not just look at 1 or 2 or 3 countries abroad, but we can look at being the production house of defense technologies for the globe. Now, this is something, the transition will happen in the next 2 to 3 years or maybe 5 years, and then there will be an explosion of business. So this Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India will enable the Indian industry to start catering to the world.
Right. So overall, FY23, 222 odd crores is what we've seen in terms of revenues. Taking the order book growth, the prospects, the opportunities into consideration, what's the milestone that we are looking to cross from here on?
Unfortunately, I'm in a silent zone, so I won't be able to comment on that.
Okay. So will we maintain a similar growth trajectory?
I don't want to say.
Okay. And secondly, what I wanted to ask you was from a margin perspective, we've seen a dip from the peak that we saw in FY21, right? We were almost at 30.28. And from there, if I look at FY23, we've gone down to around 25 and a half. Now, is there a particular reason for that? And how are you seeing that perspective?
So we are doing good when it comes to the profitability of business.
Correct. The PAT margins have improved significantly. I think the same year in FY21 when we saw EBITDA margins peak at 30.2, our profit margins were lower at 11. And this 23, where the EBITDA margins have gone down to 25 and a half, the profit margins have improved to 16.2.
So I think we should look at the eventual profit rather than EBITDA, right?
No, but just to understand as to what is that reason that's causing that operational.
We are also expanding as a company, and what used to be then today the figures are completely different when it comes to manpower, when it comes to our costs, and so on and so forth. So today, Paras Defense is not just a component business or subsystem business. But today we are also a complete systems company. We are giving a complete solution, say a submarine periscope. It's a complete product in itself. We are making sure that we are not conflicting with any of our existing customers. But when we are growing from a component subsystem or a system company to a product and a solutions company, it calls for integrating a lot of cutting edge brains which are available in the country. And we have today onboarded one of the best brains in the industry. So all of this equals out to somewhere, some costs going up, some costs, our employee costs have gone up. A lot of PhDs are a part of Paras today. So the research, the efforts and the research manpower has increased. So all of this will translate into something like this. But eventually, I request you to look at the PAT, which is the actual profitability.
Right. And my last question coming to you is overall a perspective from you in terms of Israel, the war, if it aggravates, how does it really impact, negative or positive, however it may be, a Paras as well as the industry as a whole? What's your key take out of it?
This question is a little political. This question is a little business oriented. I would rather answer the business part.
Absolutely. That's what I'm looking at as well, not the political side.
Israel is fully self-sufficient when it comes to defense technologies. They are not dependent on any country to fuel them with any of the technologies. So any conflict in that zone will not create a pull from any of the countries when it comes to business. Business will go as it is. Israel will take some time, or maybe a week or 10 days is what it will take for them to. But that happens. Israel has a lot of holidays as well. So these kind of delays won't have any impact on the current business, but it will neither have a positive impact, according to me, because Israel is self-sufficient when it comes to this. They are not dependent. India, it's not that India needs to supply certain things for them to overcome any conflict. It's not that.
Okay. Another question on the same I have is like, for example, India is an importer of defense equipments from Israel. Now, taking the situation into Israel, I'm sure they would have to increase domestic supplies themselves. That could probably impact their exports as a business?
Not quite, because Israel is primarily, their economy runs on this. So although mitigating current conflict will be on their highest priority, like COVID was for a lot, the whole world, the current conflict resolution will be on the highest priority, but they have to spring back to their economical requirements, right? So they will be looking at exports and growing their exports at all times.
Got it. I think that's the situation we will have to wait and watch. Thank you so much, Amit, for joining us on the show. Great perspective, that we've got both from the schemes and indigenization that India is looking at, as well as the Israel war that has intensified so far as well. Thank you. Stay safe and speak to you soon again as soon as you announce results to get more milestones from you from here on.
Sure. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
So that's the management of Paras Defense giving out his comments in terms of how the industry stands to benefit out of the indigenization scheme that has been announced by the government, and this is the fifth one. And if you talk about the Israel war as well, clearly he's indicating that he does not see a major impact in terms of Indian companies, may it be positive or negative, and expects Israel to bounce back as well quite swiftly. Yes, there could be a mild disruption of a couple of days that happen due to the war, but overall, so far, no impact is what is seen. And if you see in terms of Paras Defense as a stock as well right now, clearly today the stock is trading under pressure as we speak. But apart from that, in the last, say, 1 month, the stock is down 12 to 13%, but on a YTD basis, we've seen returns of around 20% that Paras Defense has given out. That's all that we have on this session. Thanks for watching, and lots more lined up on the other side. Please stay tuned to BK Prime.